Boys and girls, good afternoon. I am going to be doing some testing, so I put the new target up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Deer Seeker Archery Turkish horse bow at 60 pounds and compare it to the Mandarin Duck combat archery rig that I have that I created from the Mandarin Duck Black Hunter. So what that means is the Santa Anita Dragon 10001 spine 001 straightness, 290 spine arrows with 200 grain field points is what I'll be using. Now, the 200 grain field points does not come with those arrows. I added those to myself for the heft, and they're very pointy, so they'll penetrate really, really good, especially on soft targets. So what I'm going to do is grab a couple of those, and here we'll start shooting. Okay, good center shot, kind of, sort of. This is where because the arrow at this distance doesn't really have the ability to stabilize and go straight. And a lot of people are, you did a slap because you didn't get you didn't contra good enough or something like that. Contra is really not that, especially with a shelf bow. Even though you could still do it on this type of bow I'm getting ready to use, it's more along the lines of um, the when the arrow impacts in a target like that, it's going to shift and not going to be straight anymore. So I only got about that much penetration, and we'll see what the other one does. Same arrow. Okay, that one shot pretty much straight in. Not uncommon on a shelf bow because they do really well with arrows. All right, we'll see where we are on this. Maybe just a little bit more penetration, but not much. We'll do the Deer Seeker again. Same arrow. And I have pretty much the same result. Okay, and a lot more penetration in that one area. So it's really the target that determines the penetration. I'm going to go ahead and do the Mandarin Duck one more time. Try to hit center. Okay. Okay, so it's about the same amount of penetration. So that's pretty much the way the targets are. Now, on a ballistic gel target, it will render a much more conclusive penetration characteristics of what these arrows and these arrowheads will do based upon softer tissue. That's going through vinyl and into a lot of cloth. And then, of course, there's a membrane in the middle between the front and the back, and it also gives or flexes in on the inside. It has plastic around it. So there's a lot going on with those targets, and they're really good for both outdoors and indoor archery. And I would suggest following my Patreon for the video that's coming up on how to do your archery range. I'll do a small snippet for YouTube and send you to the Patreon to finish understanding the rest. So with the two bows, I'm getting roughly the same amount of penetration. No, I'm not dead point in the middle. I don't want to do that. That would be shoot around the target, and that way you have plenty of test areas to where you can see which one penetrates the most. And mostly it penetrated outside of the center of the circles. So that's good to know, because if you're doing other stuff on the target and you're not really hitting center target, you'll need to know where the penetration is going to be more. That way you can prepare to have much more of a backstop. Like I have that 3/4 inch piece of wood right there. It's more than half an inch, which most 3/4 pieces of plywood are right around 5/8 to 11/30 or 11/16 thickness, roughly. So it just all depends upon where you got the wood from. So, all right, but anyway, there you go. And more will be coming, so make sure you subscribe. This will be a deliberate accuracy test, thumb draw versus Slavic draw. First thumb draw with the 60-pound deer seeker Turkish horsebow. Okay, so this should be my point of impact. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot 3 arrows. Same idea, thumb draw. Way off. There we go. Okay, I've got 2 in the donut. One of them's fairly close to accurate on the point. And then I've got a flyer. That will not come out. All right, Slavic draw. Mandarin duck, left-hand bow, 60 pounds. Those 3 arrows right there on top of each other, and I'll bring you up to it. Almost dropped the phone. Yeah, that's okay. So this is the group you want, and I'm also on a shelf bow as opposed to not a shelf bow. Really, I'm out of practice shooting the Turkish bow. I haven't shot that in a couple weeks, so that was my first shots in a while. And this is what you're looking at. You can get really, really good with the bow that you're currently shooting. I mean, I've been shooting the Mandarin duck for a couple of days now, and you damn near cover that with a dime. All 3 of those holes together. So 6 yards, not slow draw, not real fast either, but this is that piece of armor I'm going to be shooting as well. It's not armor, it's just this is a clamp between 2 desks, and it's basically the same thing as the Lamel armor, mild steel, but I'll be doing that outside on a controlled environment on a range outside. So, but I mean, look at the ability to group with Slavic draw on a shelf bow, and that's just pretty much the way that works. You get much more accuracy, steady shot, and constant knocking in the proper point or on the proper point and release are very, very consistent. Okay, this is a dime, and those are the 3 holes I just made just to prove that point. There you go.